Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well today. Today's tutorial shall be the making of this beautiful cow kimono jacket. It's very easy and quick to make. If you are new here, you are welcome. This is Don Larry, and here on this channel I upload sewing tutorials, pattern drafting and DIYs. Consider subscribing and also remember to put on your notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video you will be notified. To get started, you're going to be needing the following measurements. You will need your jacket length measurement, your desired jacket length measurement. You're going to be needing the shoulder measurement, the sleeve measurement, and the hip measurement. Those are the measurements that you will need. And this is the fabric that I'll be using. This is a satin fabric. So if you want to achieve the cow effect, you're going to be needing a fabric that drapes well. So I would suggest you use a satin fabric, silk or chiffon fabric, or any other fabric that drapes well. So these are the fabric that I'll be using. I'll be using this for the main jacket, and I'll be using this black fabric for the cuff, for the sleeve cuff. So guys, let's get started. To start cutting, the first thing you're going to be doing is to fold your fabric into two, and what will determine the width of the fabric you're going to be folding will be your shoulder measurement and your sleeve measurement. So the my shoulder measurement is 16 inches. And you know you're going to be dividing it by 2 because we're going to be folding the fabric into 2. So that if I divide this 16 inches by 2, I will have 8 inches. So that 8 inches, then the sleeve length measurement. The sleeve length measurement I'm working with is 19 inches. Depending on how long you want it, you can make it up to your wrist. So I just want this to stop a little bit above the wrist. So depending on the sleeve length measurement. So the sleeve length measurement I'm working with is 19 inches. And because this jacket is going to be having a cuff like this, so I'll be using 3 inches for that cuff, which means I'm going to be deducting that 3 inches from this 19 inches. So because we're going to be cutting the cuff separately. So if I take away 3 inches from this 19 inches, I will have 16 inches. So now we're going to be adding 16 plus 8, the 8 which is the shoulder measurement, and then we're going to be having 24 inches. So 24 inches will be the width of the fabric, and then the length of the fabric is 35 inches in my own case. So depending on how long you want it, you can make it up to your nail length or above your nail length. I'll be making this a little bit above the nail length. So now that you know the length and the width you want, all you need to do is just to measure whatever you get, which is 24 inches in my own case. So this is 24 inches like this, and then you're going to fold that into 2. So that 24 inches, now the width in total will be 48 inches before folding it into 2. But once you folded it into 2, you're going to be having 24 inches. And then the length of the jacket will be the length of the fabric. So in my own case, I'll be cutting out 48 inches by 35 inches. And we're going to be cutting out 2 pieces, the front and the back. So before I cut this out, I will just add 2 inches seam allowance to the length. So you will add seam allowance to the length. And I'll be adding 2 inches seam allowance, which means I'm going to be cutting out the fabric of 48 by 37 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut this out, and we're going to be cutting out 2 pieces like I've said. All right, so I've cut the fabric just like I've explained earlier, and I've cut out two pieces. This is the front and this is the back, both cut on fold. So what I have is 48 inches before folding it, and remember after folding it I will have 24 inches by 37 inches because I've added 2 inches seam allowance to the length. So once you've cut that out, we're going to be cutting out both the front and the back the same way, and after that we're going to be shaping the front. So the first thing we want to do is to create the neckline. So we're going to be using, depending on how wide you want the neckline to be, you can make it 3.5 or 4 inches. I will go with 4 inches, so I'm marking 4 inches here, and then the neck depth will be 2 inches. You can make it 1 or 1.5 inches depending on how you want it. So once you've marked that, so I hope you can see what I'm marking. So I'm working on the right side so that you'll be able to see what I'm marking. So this is 4 inches by 2 inches, and then you create that nice curved shape. So once you've marked the neckline, the next thing you want to mark is the shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches in my own case. So I'll first of all mark 8 inches like this. And then you're going to mark your sleeve length measurement, which is 16 inches in my own case. So from there, I will mark 16 inches. So this is 16 inches here. So at this end now, you're going to mark down 2 inches. So from this end, you're going to be marking 2 inches. So I'll just mark 2 inches like this. And after marking that 2 inches, you're going to draw a slanted line from the neckline down to these 2 inches. So I've drawn a slanted line from the neckline down to the side. So once you've done that, we want to input the wrist circumference measurement, and my wrist circumference measurement is 8.5 inches. So you will need to add ease allowance to this depending on how loose you want it or how fitted you want it. So my wrist circumference measurement now, I will add 1 inch ease allowance. So I will have 9.5 inches, and that 9.5 inches you're going to divide it by 2 in order to input our wrist measurement here. So I will go ahead now and mark 4 1/4 inch. So can you see that? So this will be the wrist, and this is where we're going to be adding the cuff to. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do now is to go to the hem line, and then we're going to be needing our hip measurement now. So depending on how penciled you want it, so this is how it will look at the hem line. So depending on how penciled you want it, that is what will determine what you will input here. So the hip measurement of 40 inches, which I'm working with, I will take away 4 inches from that 40 inches before dividing it. So if I take away 4 inches now, I'll be left with 36 inches. I will now divide that 36 inches by 4 because we have 4 folds. Remember, you know that already. So after dividing that, I will have 9 inches. So I will mark 9 inches from this end, from the center front and the center back. Go ahead and mark whatever you have. So I'm marking 9 inches here, and then you will add seam allowance to it. So you can add seam allowance of 1 inch. So once you've done that, the next thing is to connect this to this. So from here now, we're going to draw a curve shape to this end, to this sleeve measurement. So like this, from here up to this side. So draw a nice curved line, and then we're going to cut this out. So now we have the front and the back cut out, and this is what we have. So we're going to take out one, and that will be the back, and then we'll work on the second one. So to complete the front now, this is the front. What you're going to be doing is to draw a curved line from this hem line. So you're going to draw a curved line from the hem line through to the neckline, to this part. So you will draw a curved line like this. So like this, and then this is what we're going to be cutting out. So this is what you will have for the front. So now to cut the sleeve cuff, all you need to do is just to remember, I take away 3 inches, which will be the curve from the total sleeve length. So that will be the width of the sleeve. So 3 inches will be the width. and then the wrist circumference will be the length you will be cutting out. So to my wrist circumference, I added 1 inch while I was inputting the wrist measurement here. So that is 9.5 inches. So I'll be cutting out 9.5 inches by 3 inches, and then you're going to be adding half an inch seam allowance. So here I have 3.5 inches by 10 inches. So I hope you understand, and you're going to be cutting out 2 pieces for this. So now we want to assemble the fabric, then we move on to the sewing machine. So what you're going to be doing is to open up the back. Remember, the back is still on fold, and then this is the back at the bottom. And then once you've done that, you're going to place the front on it, right side facing each other like this, and then you make sure that the two matches together at the highest point of the shoulder here. So like this. And then the first thing you want to do is just pin it down, and then go to your sewing machine and sew it from the neckline down to the wrist measurement here. And after that, you will also sew it at the side. So from here now, you will also sew it down to the hem line. So I hope you can see this table is small, so you sew it down to the hem line. So I'll go ahead and do that. And also to the sleeve cuff, what I will do to the sleeve cuff is that I will open up the fabric like this, and then I will just fold it like this, and then I will stitch it at one side. So I will do the same thing to the other side, and once I'm done with that, I will show you the next thing to do. Alright guys, so I've joined it together just like I explained earlier. So I join it at the shoulder area like this, as you can see it, and also at the side. So this is what it looks like. This is the hem line, and after that I went ahead to overlock the edges. So if you have an overlocker, go ahead and overlock the edges, and I also overlock the center front, as you can see it. So this is what we have. So this is the sleeve cuff. I also overlock the sleeve cuff, so just join it straight, and after that you want to fold it into two like this. So you fold it into two like this. So if you join it together straight like this, you will achieve something like this. It will be neat inside and outside. So this is what you will have. So once you've turned the cuff into two like this, we want to attach it to the jacket, and all you need to do is to make sure that the stitch line you have on the sleeve band or the sleeve cuff matches with the side line. So all you need to do is just to hold it like this. This is the stitch line, make sure it's aligned, and then you just insert it inside the jacket. So you insert it like this. So make sure that the stitch line align, and then I will just pin this down. Like this. So you insert it like that and make sure it's aligned, and once you've pinned it down, go to your sewing machine and then just stitch it round like this, and then you do the same thing to the other side. So now to finish up with the neckline and the center front, since I've overlocked the edges, I will just go ahead and fold it once and stitch it. But if you don't have an overlocker, it means you're going to be folding it twice. So you fold it twice, and then you run a straight stitch round it. So I will start from the hem line here. So from the hem line, I will fold it once, and then I will stitch it up to the neckline, and also at the neckline I will just fold it once, and then I will stitch it round through to the other side. And also the hem line, you do the same thing, fold it in and stitch it. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I will show you guys the final look.